Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest edition of Start Talk. We are so excited to have a epic rock star lineup for you tonight. Calling in from all over the U.S. We are very, very excited tonight. Thanks for tuning in. If this is your first Start Talk, we do these on the first Monday of every month, and it's really to allow people to get into the minds of a lot of the top young leadership in Isogenics, our START ambassadors, and ask your questions live, and also give you an opportunity to post on the Facebook page and where we can field your questions. So, welcome to the latest edition of Start Talk.
What the heck?
We are so excited to have a little background noise lineup for you tonight. Calling in from all over. Bear with us as we. There we go. Perfect. So I'm here with the whole gang here. I got Journey, I got Chase and Cayla, and I got Laura Krulish. What's happening?
Hello. Hey, everyone.
How seriously? How cool are these hangouts? I mean, we're just all chilling right now.
I know, right?
I love it. So fun.
So where is everybody? Chase and Cayla, where are you at?
Bakersfield, California.
Baco. Love that. Journey, where are you?
Today I'm in LA at a friend's house. I'm going to UIA in Seattle this weekend, though.
Oh, nice. Get a little DW action?
Oh, yeah.
Always a good call. And Laura, where are you at?
I'm actually home today, so I'm in Castle Rock, Colorado.
Nice, nice. Perfect. Well, we're going to dive right into it here, and we're going to field some of the questions that were posted on the Facebook page, and also some hot topics that we feel need to be addressed, which is always good. And if you're tuning in live right now, you should be able to see a little Hangout link on the bottom left of the screen where it says to join the conversation live. Click here. You can log into your Google account and actually ask questions live, and the amazing Kirsten Herrera will be fielding those and sending those along so we can address some of those if you have any questions live. So first question for everybody tonight is, there's lots of talk when people, most people when they get started with Isogenics and they're young, they're also working like a full-time job, whether it be a 9-to-5 job or maybe it's a part-time job, but they're working some sort of job, and and they're working a lot of hours. And so a lot of people sometimes have trouble balancing, well, how much time do I invest in my Isogenics business versus my full-time job? Obviously we don't want to encourage people to quit their jobs until they're earning enough income to really meet the needs of their lifestyle and stuff like that. So we're very responsible in that. So can you guys just kind of address that? I know you guys have had some issues with this as some of your team members have been dealing with this. So Chase and Cayla, I know you guys deal with this a lot. Why don't we start with you?
Okay. Well, for me personally, when I first got started, I was working as an ER nurse, and I was also working as a clinical instructor for a nursing school. So I really did not have time to build this business. And one of my biggest mentors, Janie Elo, told me, you don't have to put in 8 hours a day to make this business work for you. You can just fit it into the little pockets of free time that you have, So listening to a podcast while I was in the car is how I educated myself. And then I gave myself a goal of talking to 9 people every single day. And so I would just, get up early before work and make it happen, do it on my lunch break, do it before I went to bed, and just really worked in like 15-minute time blocks. And that really helped me out a lot because I just knew I was not going to go to bed unless I had my 9 calls done for the day. And, within 6 months, I had doubled my nursing income doing that, working very, very part-time. So it's definitely doable when you just give yourself grace and you say, okay, well, I may not be able to have, traditional business hours right now, but I can fit it into my life,
So how many hours were you investing, like, I mean, you say you're doing it kind of 15-minute chunks. How many hours a day, or I mean, your minutes a day, do you think you were doing initially?
I would say 2 hours a day was doable for me, but I would do 7 days a week because that's what I needed, to do. So, I mean, I would probably say 15 to 20 hours a week in the beginning. But I wanted it so bad. I was hungry, and so I did what it took.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be able to double your nursing income in 6 months, you're going to have to put some massive action into those 2 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Journey and Laura, how about you guys?
I think that's a great point. A big part of it is making it fit into your lifestyle. So if all it means is, the drive that you have going to work, being able to load podcasts, there are so many different Isogenics podcasts that you can listen to and books on tape, things to motivate. And that's what I do. Even when I'm big on traveling now, so because of Isogenics, I don't have to work full time, so thank you. But I know when I did, I would put podcasts on my phone, and when I was walking or at the gym, whenever I had free space, instead of putting on music or talking on the phone, I was learning. And what Cayla said about making those calls, I think is so important because that is measurable. And it can be different for everyone. For some people, it's making 10 new connections a day. For some, it works to say 2 or 3 new connections. But I think having that number and remembering the follow-ups as well, that just keeps that momentum moving forward.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Having a target to shoot for every day. Laura?
Yeah, so for me, I think many of you know my story, but for those of you who don't, before I started Isogenics, I was working quite a few jobs. And initially, I wasn't really into the business part of what we do here, but I went to an event not too long after enrolling, and at that point, I became committed 110%. And so, like Cayla mentioned, being hungry just for the opportunity, that's what I was. And so I wasn't going to make any excuses about the time that truly I didn't think I had. I just was going to make more time because 24 hours in a day just meant I was getting less sleep. I stayed up really late at night, and I got up really early, and as Journey mentioned, my early morning time was podcast time. So that's when I would, my kids weren't awake yet, and I wasn't doing any of that stuff. So when I was waking up at maybe 4:30 or 5 in the morning to listen to product podcasts or business podcasts, I would always do at least one of each in the morning and then one of each again at night, so that I was becoming familiar with the terminology, becoming familiar with the people in our organization, becoming familiar with just different opportunities that were out there, and trying to really learn and grow. So I would say, yeah, I did that for maybe a half hour to an hour in the morning, take notes while I was getting ready, doing makeup and all that stuff. You can be listening to another podcast. So really just filling my mind with knowledge. And then that way, when I started talking to people, I didn't feel like I was missing information. I felt like I could say enough that would at least get them to see the vision of where I was going and how I could help them out. I was working a lot, so during the day I didn't have a lot of time, but I would definitely sneak away on a break, or when my kids were busy playing with something, I would get my phone call going. I didn't have a number like Cayla of 9 because I didn't know what I was doing. This is my very first company, so I had no limit of what or who I was going to talk to. It was just whoever, whenever, if they were messaging me ready to go, then I was replying and getting back to them, because when the work is there, you want to take people up on it. Then as you learn and grow your skills, and your time can become more structured, I think, in this opportunity. But for me in the beginning, I just took it all when it would come. And so really what that added up to was probably not more than an hour or 2 a day, because when you're just looking at the pockets of time. So, 20 minutes, 30 minutes here. Anytime you're in the car, you can be listening to a podcast. ISA Sales Tools has all the books on tape, like from PETA and Lynn Hagedorn and David Wood series, all that stuff, GoPro. like you can always be learning and getting yourself more familiar and building your skill set. And so those pockets of time can really add up, and you can start to remove the excuse of, well, I don't have time. You know, you just have to really, if you want this, if you want to be really successful, if you want to travel every day like Journey does, like I can't keep up with that girl. She's always somewhere. But why? Because she can put in the work, and I'm sure she takes appointments while she's gone and on the road. And I was just working in Florida. You know, I worked maybe 2-3 hours total per day, spread throughout the day. You know, I was logging into ICU Live on vacation, but because I still have a long way to go, I'm still learning, I'm still investing, I'm never going to be done with that stuff. So the pockets are there if you guys are really willing to be committed, which I already know you are because you're tuned in live tonight. And those of you who are on this hangout with us, you're obviously ready to go to the top and do what it takes.
That's so awesome, Laura. I love what everybody said. I mean, to me, I'm hearing kind of the same theme. It's kind of like, identify the hours that you have in the day, whether it be an extra 30 minutes a day or 3 hours, but treat those 30 minutes, hour, 2 hours like a full-time job, and work this business like your life depends on it, and like you want to produce massive results in those pockets of your life. I think if we kind of have that mindset, it's a game changer for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to, it's summertime right now, and it would be so easy just to go to the pool all day with my kids and go to the zoo. But I have time scheduled out that I'm going to be working because, this is my freedom. And if I get lazy about it, then everything will just go away. So it's just important that you make it a priority. And when it's your responsibility, you can either make it happen or put it to bed all day. It's your choice.
Exactly. There's always enough time in the day.
Yep.
So, go ahead, Chase. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I just want to echo what everyone else is saying, but I think that also too what we tell our team is with that little amount of time that you have to make sure that you're doing income-producing activity during that time, because I think some people can get caught up going and saying that they're working because they're going and liking people's posts on Facebook and doing stuff like that. That's not. To me, that's not necessarily what you need to be doing with the small amount of time that you have. So, income-producing activities, meaning messaging people, following up, doing three-way calls, doing welcome calls, those types of things that produce income are the things that you really want to focus on with the small amount of time that you have.
Yeah, I love you can learn while you earn.
Yeah.
So all that other stuff can come as you go.
Yeah, so just so maybe touch on, because I know Laura mentioned, listening to podcasts and really immersing herself in knowledge so she can be more knowledgeable. I don't know if that's an income-producing activity, but I love that she can do that, when she's in the car or she's getting up a little earlier. So, but you guys are saying the income-producing activities, if we've got an hour and a half, 90 minutes in a day, maybe spending a half hour listening to a pod or 15 minutes on a podcast driving somewhere, but then the rest of the time is spent on, you're talking three-way calls, prospecting, following up, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we like to say 20 minutes a day on personal development podcast, whatever that is, and then Cayla has a really good checklist of 3 follow-ups, 3 reach downs. There's different daily activities that we say, okay, these are non-negotiables that you need to be doing every day to produce income. So we have those daily activities that you need to be doing that are income producing, and then also the personal development or the skill building stuff.
I think people get caught up in that podcast and stuff like that because they want to be the best, they want to be an expert,
right.
But it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. So it's like 7 years. So you're not going to be an expert overnight. So I always tell people, have grace on yourself. That's what your sponsor's here for. That's why, I'm here to hold your hand in the beginning if you want it. And use me, And so, just ask yourself, what do you get paid to do in Isogenics? I get paid to enroll people and to rank advance my friends that I bring into this business. And so that's what I want to focus on. 90% of my time should be on that.
Awesome. Great stuff.
Add to that, It's such an important point that I think we need to really remember, and that is what you guys are talking about, is putting things into action. Because, you know, as much as I love events are like my favorite time of the month, because I try to go every month to some event, but it's coming back from those events or hanging up the, you know, even a call or an online event like this or a podcast, and taking action when you're in the excitement. So if every time you listen to a podcast, you take action, and even if it's 15 minutes of focus, doing what Chase said that they do, which is, you know, whether it's 3 for every category, maybe it's 3 prospects, people you've reached out to before and following up. Maybe it's setting up 3 three-way calls and connecting calls to introduce the next step of whatever they're ready to learn. You know, and having those 15 minutes of focus after the podcast or after you put down the book or after you get back from an event, then it actually makes that learning and effective and puts that into use. And then the other thing, going back to the initial question of while you're working, how do you build? I'd say another really helpful key that makes a difference for people is using the products in front of people, using them in public. And, you know, wearing Isagenix gear, besides the fact that it looks good, it just starts conversation. You can walk into a grocery store or be at work, and you have your Isagenix shaker or a T-shirt or, you know, some a fun pen. You know, a pen that says Isagenix, and you offer it to someone to write something down. They're going to ask questions, and it's a great way to start a conversation.
Awesome. You got, hey, rock the swag, baby.
Hi.
Swag like a boss.
I was going to wear it, but I didn't know if we should be twins.
We could be twins. Okay, so we got a live question here. I'm gonna have that one next, but first I want to ask you guys. This one actually came from Marina Todesa, and she asked this live or on the Facebook page, and it was really around social media. And I know all of you are huge advocates of social media. You know, that's a big component of building a successful business, especially with you guys. And so maybe like when you were first starting out, what would you wish you would have known about social media? What have you kind of learned along the way about, you know, really effective things and how to utilize social media to grow your business, whether it be, you know, intriguing posts, when to post, how to get a conversation once you've got interest, maybe taking it offline. Can you guys just kind of touch on some of that stuff?
Yeah, good question, Marina. Wait, what?
Yeah, Cayla, you take this one to start.
Okay. So, you know, I just remember back in the day when we first got started, gosh, it's going to be 4 years this year, and I remember, I wish I would have not overwhelmed everybody, you know, and just scream like Isagenix at every single person on my social media. That's all I would talk about all the time. And I think that scared a lot of people away in the beginning. And so I think, you know, using the rule of, I think they say 4 to 1 or 10 to 1. I don't know. I don't really follow that, but I wish I would have known about that back in the day. I think it's on isagenixbusiness.com, whatever to follow. And not to ever say Isagenix on your wall, but, you know, people should be intrigued when they go and look at your Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. They should want to, you know, message you to get to know you more because you look interesting, and they have no idea what you're up to, but they want to get to know you more. And so I think, like, you could go and scroll my Facebook or Instagram right now, and you're not going to see anything that has anything. It doesn't look like I'm pushing any product on people. And I think that's important because, you know, you get that label as a product pusher, and then people don't trust you. And so they have a guard up against you, and that's really what you don't want, you know, when you're building your brand. So I think just to, you know, really keep people curious about what you're doing. You're not going to just, you know, if you're launching your business, you know, you're not going to say, hey, I'm launching my business, private message me for details. It really is like, no, I'm not going to message you, and now you're blocked, you know? Yes. Yes. And so I see all these people that are doing other network marketing companies right now, and first thing, unfollow, because I know that's all I'm going to see is, I won't even name it, but we all know like some companies just do it wrong, And we want to really offer value to people. So how can we offer value to people's daily lives? Posting a yummy recipe, posting a fit tip, posting an amazing motivational quote. Why do people want to follow you? What can you add to their lives? And ask yourself that every time you're ready to post something. I don't know.
Well, I think it's 10-4-1 if I remember right. So yeah, for what that means is for every one straight out, this is what I'm doing, who wants to be part of it post, it's having 4 that are maybe more lifestyle, doesn't say exactly, specifically Isogenics or this is something I want you to join, but it's more of this is because of the lifestyle I have or because of the health I have, this is the life I get to enjoy. And then for every 4 of those posts, it's 10 of just non-Isogenics related, and it's about lifestyle and who you are, who your friends are, what you're doing in your day. And I think a big part of that, of social media, is really being authentic and being who you are and showing that. And, I'm not a whiz in branding. I wish I was. And I've talked to people and said, gosh, I need to figure out what my brand is. And people say, you are your brand. For me, it's traveling and it's, it's enjoying life. But I think if we can find out and really become clear with what our own values are and what is authentically true to each one of us. My Facebook is going to look different than Laura's and different than Eric's and different than Cayla and Chase's because we're all unique. And so for people listening, if you come up with what's authentic to you, who are you, and allow that to shine through, that's going to be magnetic in itself, and people will want to be part of what you have if it's positive and if it's exciting and if it's fun. And Cayla made a great point, which is not saying Isogenics, because even if you post, I don't know, the color blue all the time, people are going to get sick of hearing about the color blue. I mean, it could be anything, but people like variety and fun. And so, if you're going for a walk and there's a beautiful view, it's snapping a shot and bringing out light. And also thinking about when you are looking at posts on Facebook or Instagram, what attracts your eye? And think about it that way as well, and then look at it. What is it that made you stop and look at the photo? Or what made you stop and read the words? And then mirroring that, and that's how we grow and learn, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so to follow up with what those lovely ladies said, I agree with everything. I love how you can go back and look at what your posts were. So in the very beginning, which is going to be almost 3 years now, I've gone through and looked at my old posts, and they were just all over the place because I didn't know what I was doing. But I'm not mad at those because they were trial and error. They were just stepping stones to get me to where I am now, and you guys don't feel like you need to know how to be an expert at social media from the start. Take our advice, take the tips from people who are always putting stuff out there. We're always posting and start different tips and things like that, but don't be afraid to try things that feel authentic to you, because everything is all learning and growing. To become a professional network marketer, it takes time. That's why doctors dissect frogs and pigs before they do anything on humans, right? So everything that you're going to become really good at, you have to try, see what works, see what doesn't work, right? So the biggest thing I want to say about social media is the moment you decide to become a professional with us in Isogenics is the moment that you take away drama, take away negativity. I really don't recommend posting a lot of political things just because you're a brand, and just because people have different views and opinions, you don't want to make them go away from your business based on an opinion you might have on the next president, right? So that stuff can all be sorted out later. But also I would recommend putting blocks on who can post things every time on your wall, what pictures you get tagged in. Sometimes at Isogenics events we're out dancing and stuff, and we don't want all those pictures online, right? So just make sure you're protecting your brand and your Facebook page and your Instagram and whatever other feeds you guys use, I like to go to my wall at least once a day or maybe every other day or something and just scroll through as if someone I just added as a friend is now stalking me and trying to check me out. What do they see? You know, do they see negativity? Do they see me partying? Do they see me drinking a lot? Do they see me having fun with my kids? Do they see me working out? Do they see me on vacation? Do they see me saying I'm broke and whatever, you know? So what is the image that people see of you? So if there's something on there that you guys scroll through and don't like anymore, just hit delete. Same thing with a lot of posts. If you don't get a lot of feedback on your posts, I would just recommend deleting it. You know, if you don't have like quite a bit of people commenting or liking on a particular post, that means it really wasn't that great of a post. And so just remove it so that when people are scrolling through your feed, they see, wow, you know, look at Cayla. She has 200 likes on every single picture she posts. That's because she's being strategic in what she puts on there, you know. And then I don't know if she does this, but I know that I do. If I put something up and it's not getting a lot of feedback, then I just take it down. And then that way when people come back around, you know, they're just looking at, okay, there's a lot of activity going on. Maybe I want to keep tracking this person and seeing what they're up to.
Yes.
Thanks.
That's great advice. Now, do you guys use social media to, you know, because so many people, they're kind of like, you know, their first 3 months in Isogenics, they say, gosh, well, I've burned out my warm market. How do you guys go about meeting new people on social media? Are you guys joining new groups? Can you kind of talk through that strategy?
I'd say one thing is make your profile public. And Laura gave some great tips on privacy settings and allowing, you know, having that set for what people are allowed to see or not allowed to see, so that's really good. And then keeping your actual profile public so that people can find you and stumble upon you. And then when they're looking through the pictures and the posts, like Laura said, and they see all this activity, they'll say, oh, this is someone that I want to follow. And so what I do is when someone that I don't know adds me, I'll message them and I'll say, hey, thanks for your friend request. I can't remember if we've met or not. I'd love to know if we have. Sorry if I forgot. Tell me your story. And then starting a conversation and finding out more about them, and then that starts a dialogue. Start joining groups is absolutely a great idea. You can search for groups in any category, nutrition, entrepreneurs, you know, anything in your interest, and then looking at the people who post and keep, you know, the beautiful thing in network marketing and in Isogenics is that we get to choose who we work with. And so if you get to see people's posts and their activity, the chances are how they act online in other groups is how they will in your group. And so keeping an eye on that, and the ones who are posting positive messages and attracting positive conversations, those are the ones that I look for. And I'll message them and say, hey, I'm really inspired by what you're doing here. I'd love to learn more. And then really for me, I show interest in them first, because if I go in and say, hey, I have an opportunity, if you want to hear about it, I'll send you 500 videos and a whole bunch of articles, you know, they're going to freak out and then suddenly I'll be blocked. So it's as if it's a conversation in person. Yeah, one of these. So I always tell people, treat Facebook messages as if you're having a conversation in person. Be authentic. Be real. You're not going to walk up to a stranger and start well, maybe some people do, no judgment, but I don't. I ask people questions. How are you? You know, I follow a form: family, occupation, recreation, and motivation. I ask people about their family. I ask people what they do. I ask people what motivates them, inspires them, and just authentically getting to know people. And it's the same in Facebook messages. And then they're going to ask you eventually a question and ask you what you do and what inspires you, and then that's when, you know, I get to share. That's when we get to share the opportunity that we have, and so it's just a natural dialogue that way.
That's great.
Yeah, I think too. I think not limiting yourself to one social media outlet. So be on Instagram, be on Pinterest, use LinkedIn. Use Twitter, use all the social media outlets that you can in order to reach a broader network of people. We have just started using LinkedIn a lot. We've used Pinterest in the past. We've done little things on all the different social media outlets to broaden our range of network in reaching people. And I think one of the big things too is, everyone has hobbies and stuff that they're really interested in. Find those groups, find those forums on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, whatever you can, and be active in those places. Because what you're trying to do is you're just trying to broaden your reach. Broaden your network by getting involved in those things. I know for me on Facebook, I'm involved in a lot of like guitar forums because I love music, and so I'm super active in those groups, and people know me, and as I get to build relationships in those groups, we end up becoming friends on Facebook, and then they start seeing my stuff, and so we can start having conversation, and I build network by reaching people in those areas. So if you have different hobbies or something, go find groups that are tailored to that hobby so that you can start meeting people that share the same interests as you, and just broaden your reach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just love that whole idea of identifying groups that you're interested in, built in like you've all said it, just building relationships with the people in those groups, and just like everybody is saying, just don't be weird. Just don't be that weird person that is all weird and starts talking about isogenics and opportunity. And that is weird. But what is not weird is just being a human being and going in there and just becoming genuinely interested in people, building relationships. Eventually they're going to friend you, see what you're all about when they start reading your posts. I think that's the basis, the bottom line with social media.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't go in those groups and just blast, private message me to find out what I'm doing and stuff like that.
I logged into his Facebook one time. He didn't know, and I did that. I got into his guitar groups and posted it because I was running for a goal, and he got kicked out of groups. I felt so bad. I was like, oops, sorry. So that's I was desperate, and I wish I could go back. Well, actually, I don't wish I could go back and change it because I learned that doesn't work.
Yeah,
that's so
Big
funny.
weirdo. But anyways, they let him back in. He apologized.
That's number one rule. Just don't be weird.
Don't be weird.
Okay, so just moving on here. We had a live question come in. This is from Cassandra Smith. And
love you, Cassandra.
Awesome. She says she wants to know areas of retention. So what have you guys done to kind of increase retention in your organization? So, I mean, I guess getting people a better experience, obviously getting people paid. What are some stuff that helps with retention for your groups?
Loving on people, not being weird, supporting them, like all the other things you just mentioned. But that's what I see working in my team, and obviously Cayla and I are partners, so in her team as well. This is something that we do a lot. It's just spoil your people, and it doesn't have to be like, big extravagant gifts, although those are fun too. But thank you cards, just lots and lots of gratitude. I like to stay really close to my new enrollments for like the first 6 days, because those are like the scary baby days, where it's like, oh my gosh, they're going to go into that 2-day cleanse, and if they don't survive, they're never going to call me again. They're going to think everything is too hard, So, like, I'm dealing with someone right now who's struggling on her second round even, and I'm like, listen, let's take a breath. There's other options. Let's figure out something that works for you. So just, little things. What I've started doing now, which I did learn from Cayla, is the color code test. I'm now sending that along with the new enrollment associate form. So I have them take that test immediately and fill out their goals, whether it's product-based or business-based. I still get all that right in front of them immediately. And I love knowing their color right away, because people are motivated in so many different ways. So I just got a brand new red on my team, and is hopefully watching tonight, but that excites me because that just means she's going to be coachable, but she's going to take the reins, right? And I just know that already just because she took that color code test. And, you know, so if we have those different colors, we know what motivates them. So we know what kind of gifts to send their way. Or, you know, they don't even need that. Like me, like you guys can see behind me, all these are like thank you cards or mail that I get from my team or friends. And like for me, those are like gold, right? So they're everywhere in my office. But some people are like, well, where's my next Michael Kors bag? So you want to know who those people are. So that's how, you know, that's what works for retention in my group is we just like to spoil each other and find different quirky gifts. I know, Eric, you've received quirky gifts from me. I like to buy weird, funny things that make me smile because why not? Everyone can send flowers. It's fun to just go on Instagram and find all these little stores that have different items that you can send to people, and people love that stuff. They feel so appreciated, and you get the reports that say who went manager, who went director. So every week I try to just get at least 10 people done that I'll send a handwritten note to, and they're usually just random in that list of people, and just, you know, let them know that you're watching and you do care about their success in all ways.
Love that, Laura. And what was that? Is there a website for the color code?
I think it's just colorcode.com, right, Kay? Yep.
Awesome.
Super simple. It's just a quick questionnaire.
So if you're not familiar with the colors, I think that's an amazing tool to use. That's great.
Such a great tool. I'm going to start doing that. It's such a great idea, Laura, because I do love that color coding test, and I haven't done it as regularly, so I'm going to use that. If I had to say one thing that's helping with retention, and I mean, you said it, a lot of them, Eric and Laura, loving on people, but if I were to say one thing, I would say that it's really getting clear with their vision and their why. And the switch that I've been making recently is it's not just about letting people know what's possible and letting people know what I've been able to achieve, but it's having them tell me what they want. And not just, yeah, you know, I want to have freedom, or I want to pay off my loans, or I want to buy a new house. It's asking follow-up questions of, well, what does that mean to you? What does that look like? If you were able to pay off your loans, then what? Then where do you go? You know, if you have all the money and all the time and, you know, all the freedom, where would you be tomorrow? And really going deeper and deeper into those questions, asking more and more questions so that they are telling me, and really getting clear on that, because some people have never been asked those questions before and they have no idea. And with their health goals too, getting them to tell me what their goals are and what that means. So if someone wants to lose, you know, 20 pounds, what will it feel like when you lose those 20 pounds? What will that mean for you? What, you know, maybe if they're parents, if they're moms, it's going to mean having more energy for their kids. So having them tell me, it just gets them more connected to why they're going to do it. And it's not just a one-time conversation. That's what I'm learning, is that it's that conversation that gets repeated so that on the ups and downs of life, like we all have, it keeps everyone connected to why go forward, why keep going.
That's great. Anchor people in that why. Love it.
Mm-hmm. I know Chase has something to add to this because he's really good at retention. But the new associate checklist that just came out, following that every single time, you guys, and It's so duplicatable. So that way, you know, it's not there's no bells and whistles to it. It's easy. You just have to do it. And just go to isogenicsbusiness.com. It's on there. You could Google new associate checklist Isogenics. It's going to come up, and just follow that. And you know, your mom actually taught me this, Eric, is just keep a folder for every single person you've enrolled. You just write their name on it. You put that checklist and that associate interview in there. And every time you go to contact them, you're writing in there what you guys talked about. And so that way, you know, you have a kind of like a log of what's happened, you know, and how far you've come since the beginning. And, you know, I check on people weekly, you know, and then monthly. And so I always just tell people what to expect from me. This is what you're going to expect from me. You know, every month, I mean, for 4 years, if you've been ordering from me, you're going to get a call, a text, or an email from me every single month to make sure that you don't have that, you know, that I'm answering all your questions. Because first and foremost, you know, what we offer here is an amazing opportunity to, you know, change your life financially, but we offer amazing life-changing products. And that's, I mean, it's like liquid gold. You know, everything that we have is seriously like life-changing superfood. And so we focus on the products, making sure that people are happy with them every single month, you know, and making sure we're changing it up if they need Isolene Pro 1 week. And I don't ever feel like I'm cleanse coaching because I plug them into IsoBody Challenge, you know, and that's on that new associate checklist. So I don't have to do cleanse coaching, but it's just making sure, you know, that we're changing up products and they get to try everything, because if they try all of our products, they're going to order every single month. Forever.
Yeah. So real quick before we go to Chase, so every single person that you start on Isogenics, you put through that new associate checklist.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if they're product, business, you go through that checklist.
Yeah, and they'll tell me what they want and what they don't want. We can, you know. But yeah.
I think that's so huge, and I think that's a tool that's underutilized, and that's why we've kind of rebranded that as the new associate checklist. We came out with it, Top Achievers. And I mean, I know, like you said, my mom, she still has all the boxes full of every single new associate checklist that she ever did with people that she got started, you know, in companies before Isogenics. She's got boxes full of them. So that was a huge critical thing that she was kind of a secret for her with her businesses.
I just attach it to my welcome letter. So when I enroll someone and send the welcome letter, which in that letter, it's welcoming them to the team. It's giving them, it lists out the websites that I most recommend where they can find the tools, right? Because we want to be giving everyone duplicatable steps. I don't want to be on the phone all day long explaining every tool that we have. You know, so it's welcome. Here's your username and password. Here's the websites. Here's when my team call is. You know, and by the way, I've attached a form. Please fill this out and get this back to me within 48 hours because you know, that way they know that I'm committed to them. And what they put on that form, that's up to them, you know, but I've already, you know, I never leave a phone call without explaining you +2, them +2. So it's just all a reminder and a refresher, you know, of what they've already heard from me on the phone. So now they have it tangible where they can just go there and watch the movie, How to Do a 30-Day System, because, you know, yeah, the less cleanse coaching you do, the more time you have to business coach someone.
Yeah, I love what you said there about the, you know, please send back in 48 hours or whatever, because it's kind of like if they send it back to you within the hour, you know how serious they are. And
absolutely.
If they don't send it for you for 2 weeks, then you obviously know how serious they are.
Yeah. So some people don't send it back, and you know, you don't chase people, you match energy for energy. Even for your product users, you know, sometimes for them I'll give them a little bit more love, but if people are saying they want the business, okay, here's what I need from you. And then, yeah, like you said, those who get it to you, boom, right away, you're like, woo!
Nice.
Yeah, that's a really important aspect, is that 24 hours or that quick turnaround, giving them specific tools to use and then things to do to follow up, because then, like Laura said, you know who to follow up with and you're matching energy with energy. And, you know, using the tools, whenever someone used to say duplicatable system, I didn't know what that meant. And I realized a system is just giving people the steps to be successful. Some people just say, okay, here's Isogenics, now go. And so actually sending them the welcome letter is such an important key, and having their login info, but also having the specific tips for success. So that you're not a cleanse coach, having how to do a shake day, how to do a cleanse day, you know, the specific things that they can use to be successful, so that you can focus on the ones who are ready to run with you. And the tools are there. Isogenics has given us everything to be successful. And if we pass those tools on to other people, then they can be successful too. And if we let them know that we're partners with them, then they feel like they're part of a team and they're plugged in to a community. And that's what makes this so much more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Chase, you want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, retention is something that, you know, I always am trying to analyze and see where we can get better, because I really feel that, you know, if we're trying to build a legacy company, a legacy business with Isogenics, then I want every person that comes into my organization to be a lifetime customer of Isogenics, because the real residual income is in the people reordering the products every single month, auto ships. So I'm constantly watching auto ships to make sure that, that we're doing well at retention. And I think one of the biggest things for that, is giving people the right product experience right off the bat, supporting people, making sure that the things that are gonna give lifetime customers is quality of products and service. And the quality of products are there. We don't have to work at that. That's already done for us. So really, what we can focus at is the support, the service. So putting in systems in place to get people put in Facebook groups that are giving the support that they need. Like Laura said, sticking with that person for the first 6 days to make sure that, they're getting the right support and service that they need. So just doing little stuff like that is going to make that person, fall in love with the products and fall in love with being a part of your organization, part of your team, and they're going to be lifetime customers for forever. And I think, two, is not forgetting about the product users, not forgetting about the people that are just reordering their products every month. Calling them, thanking them for being, faithful customers for you. Calling them and finding out if they, need any help with anything, if they hit a plateau or, whatever it is combing through your tree and, getting involved and in touch with everybody in your organization so that, that you build a legacy, you build lifetime users with Isogenics.
Yeah, one thing that we do is, Laura sends thank you cards to people that are doing the business. I don't know if you do this for your product users too, but I do the same for the business. But for product users, just randomly, we'll pick a certain amount each week. And we send them a thank you card, and then I'll send them a sample of something. And it's just a constant thing. That's just a system we do every single week. We're sending out products to product users, so that way they try something else, and or I'll send them a shaker bottle, like just something fun, so that way they know, like, hey, I know you're not interested in referring anybody right now, but I still love you for ordering products every single month. Thank you for being a part of this legacy that we're creating, and so they feel special, and that's what it is. People want to feel needed and special, and we can offer that to people.
I think too, no matter where you're at in your business, whether you're just starting or whether you've been in for years, treating this like a business and not like a hobby is huge. So putting systems in place like you would running your own business from the very beginning is huge for building a business with Isogenics. Because if you treat it like a business, it's going to pay you like one. If you treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. So retention is going to be a result of how you treat it. So,
yeah, without a doubt, that's so huge. And I love what you guys all said about product experiences. I mean, that's the foundation of Isogenics, is getting a great product experience. That's why Isogenics has been so successful, is because we have products that work. And I don't know what the stat is, but I'm sure out of the 153 millionaires that we have right now, I'd probably say that 100 of them probably first just started for the product. They wanted nothing to do with the business. And it's just amazing, how product users, they get a great result, and then they start loving the product, and then they can't help but go share it with people. So those product users we love product users.
The biggest thing to think about when you are working with someone, especially, just starting your business and you might be confused, what do I do? Just keep this in the back of your mind. How can I add value to this person's experience and life? Because what is separating them, especially your product users, what is separating them coming to you from going to some commercial business that's in their town, like a weight loss center or something like that? It's going to be the value that you can provide for them. It's going to be that relationship you build. I love texting with my new team members because they're so excited, and just to get back to them right away. Don't put them on the back burner, and just really be interested in their life. Know their husband's name. If they have kiddos, at least try to know their gender if you can't keep all the names straight, But seriously, write down their goals. Keep a journal, keep a list, so that when if you can't remember everyone, what they tell you, then you can go back to them and at least they feel like you did, and that's important, because That's the one thing that's going to separate them turning from a product user to a business builder is, did you add a lot of value to their experience? Because if you did, they're going to recommend you, or they're going to start referring people to you, and then you can say, hey, let's make these your referrals. So just keep that in the back of your mind. You know, just getting started. If you're confused, you know, this is a lot of information we're throwing your way, but how can you add value to their life? How can you add value to their experience? Get to know them, get to love them, you know, make a little piece of them in your heart, and then they're going to stick with you for a long time.
And face-to-face is so important, and I just want to add that because with all the traveling I do, or sometimes people on our team aren't in the same state or country as we are, and that isn't with our society now. That doesn't have to stop us because we have FaceTime, we have Skype, we have this Google Hangout, and so we can do face-to-face. I have online happy hours all the time with people, and we'll have our little like replenish, you know, cocktail with our in a martini glass or something, and we can still connect as if we're at a table having a glass of wine or having lunch. We're face-to-face, we're connecting, and with people that really means a lot when we can have that face-to-face time and connect, real authentic connections.
For sure. Thanks, Journey. And a great book for adding value to read is The Go-Giver. I was thinking, as Laura, as you were talking, I was just thinking, The Go-Giver, that's the book. So if you haven't read that bad boy.
I love it on audio, yes.
So speaking of that, I know we're coming up at the top of the hour. What
Already?
I know, isn't that go fast? It's crazy, huh? What's some of your guys? What books are you guys reading, or what's some of your favorite books that have added some value into your life or into the business that you guys love?
Cayla and I even have the same answer. So, Secrets of the Millionaire Mindset for sure. Read that on repeat and definitely get that one on audio. I love driving around going, I am a millionaire, you know, all day long. So that's a good one to have on audio. Go-Giver, as you mentioned, Start With Why is always a good one. The Bible, of course.
Awesome.
I think two really powerful ones. Eric Worre's Go Pro. It's such a laid out map of simple steps to follow. And Icebreakers. I think that's a really good one too. Sometimes people say, well, what do I say? And it's so weird. It's like what you said earlier, Eric. Just don't be weird, right? And it's just simple ways to connect with people, start conversations, and just remembering to be authentic.
Yeah, Lynn Hagedorn from Stage this week at the Isogenic University, she said that's one of the best books, you know, that she shares with all of her team is Icebreakers was it Big Al Schreider?
Yeah, Big Al.
So I haven't read that one. I want to read that one.
That's great.
Super easy. I know for me, I just got done reading Lead for God's Sake. I don't know who it's by, but I also like, I think a lot of people, it's hard for them to come up with a vision statement for their life, and when you say that, they look at you like, what is she talking about? But I think people need to start thinking that way, and they need to be guided on how to do that. And so I found a book. It's called The Path by like Lori Beth something. I should have brought it over here. But it asks all these questions about like just like what do you think your purpose is here on earth? You know, what is important to you? What do you enjoy doing every day? And you know, like it's specific. It's like in 5 years, what do you want to be doing on a Monday? Where do you want to be having lunch? Like it's that specific. And when I read that book, everything changed for me because it made me. If I want to go somewhere, it's not going to happen on accident. You know, if I want to be, you know, in Italy in 5 years, you know, having pastries with my family, it's not going to happen just because, you know, I wanted it to. I have to put it out there, and I have to have a complete plan, you know, on everything that's going to be happening in my life in 3, 5, 10 years. And so I just love that because people don't think about that. You ask them, hey, what are you going to be doing in 3 years? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, it's time you better start thinking about it because, you know, you have one life and you have to be intentional, you know. And so I love that book. I'll post it in Start, who it's by, but it's just so good.
What was the title of it again?
It's called The Path.
The Path. Okay.
Yeah. And so it just has a lot of really great questions to get you to start thinking. And I think that's what people need to do is think good thoughts more.
Absolutely. That's the key.
Chase, what would you say? What's your book
That I'm reading right now, or that?
that you would recommend?
I really like The Slight Edge.
Yeah.
It's
That's
a
good.
good one.
By Jeff Olson.
And I think for people just starting out, Eric Worre's GoPro is, I mean, second to none as far as, you know, how to become a good network marketer. So those are really.
What's the other
good
one that
ones.
we used to always watch it on YouTube by that old guy?
And a secret?
Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn. How to
Jim
be.
Rohn. Oh, yeah. Gotta love Jim Rohn.
I mean, that's classic. But yeah, those are the ones that I've.
Yeah, I would say, if anybody listening hasn't read GoPro by Eric Worre, I mean, everybody's always kind of looking for, you know, some scripts or what to say, or, I mean, that is just like the fundamentals. I mean, if you're looking to build a successful network marketing business, you got to read GoPro. I mean, it's probably the best book I've ever read on just the skills of network marketing.
Yep.
I think it's phenomenal.
Or listen to it.
Or listen to it, yeah.
Here, something we do when we enroll people, and most of the time a lot of people are coming in because they say they want the business. They're like, oh, I want your life. What do I need to do? I'm like, okay, get the President's Pack or Business Builders Pack and then read these books. I give them GoPro, Icebreakers, and then Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. And, that's way less than what you're getting for your product introductory bonus, and I love to give things away. And that's another way I gauge people on if they're going to be legit with me, you know, and if they're going to really be somebody I want to spend time with. If they read those books, I'll spend time with them. And so that's huge, you guys. You should be giving presents like that, like books, that investing in your people, not giving them prices off of your packs. I hate when people do that. Don't do that. Give them books. Okay.
Love it. Great advice. Gosh, well, we are at the top of the hour, and you guys have been the best. I think we just lost Laura. She may have gotten cut off, but we'll send Laura lots of love. Thank you, Laura, for being on. And Journey and Chase and Cayla, thank you guys so much for your leadership. And I know everybody that's watching live appreciates you, has been inspired by you tonight, and has learned so many gold nuggets they can take away. And anybody listen to the recording of this, thanks for tuning in. And I know you're feeling the same. So, love you guys.
Thanks.
Love you.
All right, see you guys.